Hello and welcome to Newsmakers. Shares of IndusInd Bank have been under pressure the last couple of days. Last Friday, the Reserve Bank gave a one-year extension to CEO Sumant Kathpalia against a three-year term recommended by the board. And on Monday evening, the company disclosed that the bank could suffer about 1,500 crore of losses because of some understatement of costs with respect to its derivatives portfolio. As a result, the stock has lost about 30% over the past two trading days. To understand more about the nature of the problem, we have with us the MD and CEO himself, Mr. Sumant Kathpalia. My colleague Ritu Singh is also joining in the interview. Ritu, welcome. Sumant, thank you very much indeed for your time. Derivatives is always tough to understand. Can you explain the problem in simple terms to your investors?
So I think the problem really is specifically in the internal deals for our foreign currency liabilities. The currency risk was hedged through derivative instruments. During a review of the processes in connection with the compliance to the RBI circular on investments portfolios, we found that there were some gaps which were coming out. And that was really the start of the issue. If you want to understand the details, I think in our treasury unit you have a internal trading desk, which is the ALM desk, and the trading desk. On these internal deals, these internal deals are forwarded to the external desk for placing it outside. The internal desk follows a hedge accounting, while the external is on a mark to market. So over a period of time there may be a gap, but over the period of the maturity it actually evens out. But if you pre-terminate a deal, I think the anomaly exists, and that is where the problem arose.
Okay, you're saying that you discovered it
have I been able to explain it?
I heard your investors' call, so I'm a little better prepared. I don't know how your our viewers would still understand. But, you said that you discovered it when you were implementing the new investment rules, which were effective April 2024. Now, if you're, implementing it effective April 2024, you would have prepared for it earlier. How come you didn't discover it before that, in the process of preparing for April 2024?
What happens is, we found this anomaly around October, and that is where we started our internal assessment, as well as we hired an external agency. At that point of time, we did not know the difference, and we knew that there were two deals getting accounted incorrectly, but there's so many deals in that, so we did not know the real impact. And I think as soon as we got to know the impact, we held a board meeting and we informed our board and we did the disclosure.
Okay. No, is it, in your analyst call, you said that this practice of differential accounting by the ALM department and the Treasury is about 5 to 7 years. Then how come you got to know of it now? Is it that the amounts were very small in the initial years, but the amount you lost because of premature withdrawal of deposit was higher in 23-24, and so it became a larger number? Is that why you missed it in the earlier years?
No, not at all. I think it is spread over 7 to 8 years, like we said, and it came over a period of time. So there's no 1 year which will show the blip. I think it was evenly spread out over a period of time, as and when you do the premature withdrawal, and the early termination of the deals created that impact.
And when did you appoint the external agency?
October 24th.
Okay, but you could have told the investors at that time you wouldn't appoint an external agency unless it was a somewhat sizable problem. You didn't know it was 1,000 crores or more than that.
The external agency was appointed, it was not, the number was not known. Latha, let me repeat it again. I think the external agency was appointed because we were not sure, and they were appointed for two specific purposes. Once, to understand the derivative accounting, And second, we are going into the new version of the treasury backend system, which is Lapse, to understand the processes and restate our processes to make sure that we are in compliance with everything. So that was the mandate which was given to the external agency.
Okay. And this external agency was not appointed because of Reserve Bank telling you to? It was a suo motu decision?
No, not at all. No, it was the bank's decision and the discovery of everything. Right now, I said we started a parallel process also. And as soon as we understood that there was a number which was emerging, and we are still not sure of the number, I believe that we are 99.5% there. We wanted to disclose it to the board and to the LODR.
Okay, so what is that approximate loss? You know, you're saying 2.5% of the net worth. There was a source close to a former RBI person with whom I was trying to check, saying 2,100 crore. Then there are some analysts who are calculating the figure as a percentage of net worth as 1,600 crore, 1,500 crore. 1,500 to 2,000 is a large gap. Which is the correct number?
No. So the number is 1,520 crores net of taxes.
Okay. Ritu, you had some question.
Well, Mr. Kathpalia, the general practice with at least the larger banks is to hedge their exposures with an external agency. Why wasn't IndusInd Bank doing this to begin with? And, specifically the September 2023 RBI circular does not deal with hedging per se. So we're still trying to understand, what led to the discovery of this change and the subsequent, despite appointing an external agency, delay in reporting this to exchanges and to investors at large.
No, Ritu, this was not a delay. We took a view that we should not be doing the internal deals and we should only go to the market hedge. And I think that is the call, and the circular clearly states that, and we changed the classification of our derivatives into what will go into hedge and what will go into mark to market. I think that's number one. Number two, in my opinion, there was no delay in reporting to the LODR. I think as soon as we discovered the number, the LODR. So as a process, we found that there may have been some gap, but very difficult to identify the gap. And as soon as we understood the gap, we immediately came into the LODR and reported the number. So if you think that we've hidden something, I don't think the bank has hidden any disclosure at this point of time.
Well, no, Mr. Kathpalia, it's the markets that seem to believe there is a question when it comes to the credibility of the bank. And, I could recite several brokerage notes that talk about it, that, trust is very important for a bank. And because of this delayed disclosure, there is a lack of credibility, which is why you're seeing the kind of reaction we saw in the stock market, 20,000 crores of market cap wiped out in a day's trade. What will you say to these investors to allay their concerns that there will be no further shocks as well?
Ritu, I can only say that I think when the microfinance issue came in, it was really not an issue. And we actually, what happened. Post that, you've seen that we've been very transparent with our disclosures. I think as soon as we got to know this disclosure, we've come and disclosed it to the market. This is a one-off item. It's not a recurring item. And I think we should take it, we should get over it in this quarter. And after that, I think the bank should be back to the BAU, and you should see the growth that the bank is seeing and the profitability which the bank is used to.
Okay. No, Sumant, you appoint the agency in October 2024, and your CFO resigns on January 17th, 2025. So it does look like you were aware of something, but, the investor gets to know only, yesterday. That is a good 60, 70 days after the CFO resigns. So, maybe you should have...
If you look at the CFO...
You were aware of the size... Maybe you were aware of the problem, but not the size of the problem earlier?
No. Like I told you, I think we were aware that there was some problem in the way our processes are running in the internal desk and the mark-to-market and in the external between internal deals. Okay. I was not aware, neither was the bank aware of the size of the problem. And I think the size of the problem, the number when it got disclosed to us, we went to the board and got disclosed it. Okay. Number one. Number two, on the CFO resignation, I think his letter is available on the site, and we have to go and believe that he's stating the right facts.
Okay. No, fair enough. He could have had other reasons, but the appointment of the agency and the resignation of the CFO and this disclosure all seem to follow a pattern. Otherwise one would not have doubted why the CFO resigned. But now, what is the likely
I think we are reading
impact?
too much into it, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. What is the likely impact on NII and net profit in Q4 itself? Will Q4 be a loss, but not the full year for sure?
The full year will not be a loss at all. And I think the quarter 4 itself also will be a profit. After taking this into account, if we have to. Because
Okay. Why do you say if we have to take into, I would assume you have to take it into account in Q4, right?
No, I'm just saying let the amount crystallize, ma'am. I'm still not aware of the full amount. I think it will be this amount. I'm 99.9% sure. I think we will absorb this loss in this quarter itself.
Okay. Can you give us some idea what will be your capital adequacy after you take into account this loss? What is it now and what might it fall to?
Will be above 15%. Will be above 15%. I can tell you we've gotten a relief on the MFI because the MFI we had taken at 125%. Now the MFI will work at 75% for business and for consumption purposes at 100%. So even if we take at 50%, we'll gain about 60 basis points on the MFI. So you take any calculation, we would still be above 15%.
Okay. It's very important that you say that you may not even report a loss in Q4. That will be a very big relief to your investors. Ritu?
Well, Mr. Kathpalia, yesterday while addressing this matter in the con call with analysts, you also said that perhaps this incident may have had a bearing on the RBI not extending your tenure by 3 years but only by 1 year. Could you explain exactly what you meant when you said RBI may have some discomfort with the way you were running the bank?
So I said I got the second term as extension at 2 years and the third term extension as 1 year. So it was more a conjecture on my part, and I think we have to respect the RBI view. So it was a conjecture which I said that may be the rationale. So that's the only reason I said that. You're getting in 2 consecutive terms, you're getting either a 2 year or a 1 year and not the full term. I think that was the rationale and a conjecture which I used at that point of time.
Okay, but Mr. Kathpalia, what has been RBI's communication to you in this matter? Because you've been engaging with them for a while. What do you think caused this?
So I don't know what caused this. I'm unable to comment on the RBI thing, but I think the board will look at a succession planning. We will look at external candidates and internal candidates to decide what is the way ahead.
And how soon could the board meet, Mr. Kathpalia, to discuss, the next steps when you talk about succession planning? And then will you be considered as one of the candidates for the potential CEO that will be submitted to RBI? What is your understanding?
That is very difficult for me to conject. What I can say right now is that I have a 1 year tenure. I have a lot of work to do. I think the bank has to get back on its feet and show on quarter 1 that where it stands compared to the peers. We have to get back a profitability, and I think be consistent and get back the trust of the investors as well as the depositors.
Okay. No, on profitability, I'm enthused by the fact that you say that even Q4 could be a profit. I can take that as a headline, right? Even Q4, after accounting for a 15,1520 loss, is likely to be a profit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, yes, Latha will do. But Sumant, what is your sense about how long you will continue? Are you likely to serve the full term, or is it likely that the search for a new CEO could be hastened?
Latha, I have never said that. I think I'm very happy, and I think I have a job to do. I don't want to leave the bank in a lurch at all, and I think I have created this bank over the 5 years through, granularity, and I think the bank today has the very, very strong foundation. Leave out this treasury thing, which can happen in any bank at any point of time. I think if you look at the liability franchise of the bank, you look at the asset franchise of the bank, I think we've got a very, very strong franchise. We've come out of microfinance much faster than what others will come out. I can say that we will see the bottoming of the microfinance cost at this quarter. And I think the bank is well poised, and I want to show profitability which this bank stands for. And we should be, and then I think let the board decide who's an eligible candidate at that point of time.
Okay. No, the fact that you are able to speak with confidence about your MFI portfolio is certainly a very big positive, and I'm sure investors will be very happy about this. At least we are. But Sumant, to go back to the issue at hand itself, this 5 to 7 years is a bit disturbing. I mean, why is it that it surfaced in the 7th year? Why not earlier?
I think if I look back at any of the audit reports, risk reports, as well as statutory reports, there is no such thing of this issue, because I think these are very complicated transactions, and it was between an external desk and an internal desk, and I think it was not there at all. So I think that may be the reason, but I had no reason to believe at any point of time, seeing all reports which come to me for review, there was any discrepancy in our processes or in our treasury books.
Okay. Sumant, like Ritu said, when I checked with some of the bigger banks, they hedge their ALM book with external parties. Is this common practice to hedge
Yes.
the book with your own trading company, with your own trading unit?
Now we hedge it with an external party effective April 1, 2024. I think we were giving it to an internal desk because they were going to the external party, and that is where the two hedges, we stopped that practice effective April 24.
Okay. No, was there a higher amount of NRI deposits in 23-24, which led to perhaps,
Yes.
Higher other assets, or what did you call it, receivables or higher assets amount?
No, ma'am, not at all. Not at all, ma'am. We have, if foreign currency deposits have to be taken, ma'am, it's only about a 1.2 billion or $2 billion of FCNR. So it's not that it's so there is more domestic business also in NR, which is the savings account and the NRE deposits.
Okay. No,
we have
but
a 15 lakh crores derivative book, ma'am.
No, I agree. But you said in the conference call that this was largely because of NRI deposits, foreign currency deposits, and the hedging of those,
I did not say
conversion
that.
of those deposits
because
to
of
rupee
client
account.
deposits and borrowings, ma'am.
Okay. Deposits and borrowings.
When you get foreign currency deposits, ma'am, you decide whether a foreign currency deposits, you want to leave it in US dollars, or you want to hedge it, or you want to convert it into INR. And at that point of time, you decide. So you have a lot of deposits which lie in foreign currency, and we place it out. So it's not that it's only a thing about hedging. It's also the way the deposits came in. It came into the internal desk. It was given to the external desk to mark to market. The one desk took the profit, and the other should have taken also, because in hedging, it should actually neutralize at that point of time. And I think when the early termination of the deal happened, the profit got accounted for, but the loss did not get accounted for.
Okay. Your NII in the third quarter was 5,228 crore. Will it be less by 1,600 crore in the fourth quarter?
Not at all.
Okay. And what about the PAT? The PAT was 1,400 crore in the last quarter.
What we will see, maybe a decline on the NNI, because we may be taking a lot of hit on our microfinance this quarter, and there may be a reversal of interest.
Okay. No, I'm intrigued by the fact that you say that you may report even a Q4 profit, because your PAT in Q3 was 1,400, and even the quarter before it was about 1,300, if I'm not mistaken, 1,331. So, if you have to take a hit of 1,520 crore, as you say, assuming that is the number, then it is difficult to find how you may be able to report a profit.
So I think we have provisions which we have created over a period of time, and I think our businesses are doing well. In my opinion, even the MFI, the CF vehicle finance business, and the growth is doing well. I think we managed our expenses very well, and I think we should come back to our profitability, which we have to do.
Okay.
Mr. Kathpalia, while you say the bank will still report a profit, there may be some decline in NII. I just wanted to understand, even with Tier 1 at 15% plus after this incident, given that the final impact is still not known, you're still conducting that external review, would you rule out the fact that the bank may need to look at raising capital, or is that something that the bank may have to consider in the coming quarter?
I don't think the bank will need capital for the next 4 quarters. We do an assessment every 6 months, and I think as of now, we believe we are well capitalized and we should be able to manage our business. Of course, there will be a loss of CET1 because of this by about, because we have a profit, it may not be a loss, but I think we should be able to manage the business.
Okay, so no capital raising required. A quick word, you said you don't want to leave the bank in a lurch. You have that 1-year term still to go. The MFI portfolio, which has been the cause of concern for the bank in the last couple of quarters, which you had earlier said you expect to bottom out in the coming 2 quarters. Do you still stand by that view, or are you seeing some improvement in the portfolio? What sort of the things that you'd want to finish before this 1-year term ends, even in terms of priorities?
So if you look at my so first let me answer the MFI and then I'll give you my priorities. I think the MFI should see bottoming out in Q4, except one state, which is Karnataka, and we should be taking that upfront in Q4 itself. So I don't see that as a concern that we will not be able to manage the MFI, and the growth is coming back. A little bit slow, but I think we are fine with that. We also diversified our Bharat financial portfolio into merchant acquiring, which is growing at a very fast pace. That's a 7,000 crore book at 26%, which has been able to mitigate some of the risk which were coming in the MFI business.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, if you look at my priorities, I think the first priority is to I continue to believe that our granularization of liabilities is still 90% there. We still need to continue our granularization, and when I mean granularization, I mean that we will also drop our cost of deposit, because we seem to be second highest or third highest in the industry, and we need to drop that in peer with the large 4 banks. We will come to that. Number two, I continue to believe we need to get our financial matrix back, and I think the bank will start seeing great profitability from Q1 onwards, and we should be back to where we belong by Q3, Q4. So I think we should start seeing the upstick and the hockey stick approach coming into the thing. Number three, our risk cost will again get range bound to 110 to 130 basis points, and we'll continue to fortify the balance sheet as we move along. The fourth, I think we need to add another domain expertise, and I believe the bank is ready to add another domain expertise, because I believe in good times and bad times, domain expertise, which is our 3 core businesses, have stood the test of time and come out looking very well.
What will be the new domain expertise?
The fifth part is I continue to invest in technology, distribution technology, and continue to create a very robust infrastructure for the growth of business as we go forward.
Okay. What will be the new domain expertise that you all are creating, Sumant?
I think there are 4 or 5 areas very difficult. I think we believe that affordable housing is a very, very good domain. I think SME lending is we are a bank of business owners, and SME lending, we want to create it as a domain expertise. So we are evaluating multiple options, and we will see how to take it forward.
Okay. When I asked you about the possibility of profit in the fourth quarter, you said that you will be able to release some of the provisions that you had set aside for MFI, right? How much are you expecting to save on that account?
Yeah. Very difficult right now, Latha. I think it will not be fair on me to give you a number right now.
Okay. Okay. But you're expecting that to take away some of this loss, right? You said that net of taxes, the loss you are counting now is 1520 crore. will the gross number be 2,100?
Yes.
I mean, I'm wondering why I heard that 2,100 crore. So is that the gross number?
I'll tell you the gross number will be about 1,970 crores.
Okay. Okay. So, and net of taxes, it is 1520. Okay. Can you give us some idea of how the unsecured book is doing? Has that turned the corner?
So I think the PL book continues to do well. I think if you look at our unsecured business, it's 5.5% of our book. I think 3% is credit card, 2.5% is personal loan. The personal loan book continues to do well for us. I think on the credit card, I think the flows have now stabilized at an elevated level, and we believe that in the next 2 quarters, you should start seeing declining on the flows. The credit card profitability did take an impact because of the regulations which underwent a change on the way interest accrual has to happen on the late fees as well as on penal. The penal interest has to be charged to the client, and I think the revolving rate did come down in the business.
Okay. Your credit growth has been about 11%, right? When you last reported, up 12.2%. Will this quarter be better? Have you seen enough demand? As well, a word on your margins. Will there be any relief on that 3.93 that you reported?
So I continue to believe that you will in quarter 4 you may see a suppression of margin, but over a next 12 months, I think you should start seeing our margins being 4% and above. That is where the bank will operate, above 4%, and I think the bank will get back to 4% margins.
Okay, Mr. Kathpalia, just one thing I wanted to understand, despite your disclosure yesterday, your late night con call with the analysts and subsequent clarifications, we even spoke to the promoter entity during the day today. Why do you think investors are not getting that sort of confidence, and we saw the kind of reaction we saw, and what would your closing message to investors really be?
So I think my closing message to the investors will be, I think the bank is very, very solid. In my opinion, I think the bank has fundamentally domain specialization, which makes it a market leader in the businesses in which it operates. With the change of cycle in the interest rates, the bank gains the most, and with the microfinance cycle behind us or any other issues behind us, I think you should start looking for what you look for in a mid-sized bank, which is an ROA upwards of 1.5 to 1.8, and I think the bank will start moving towards that in a period of 2 to 3 quarters. So I continue to believe the bank is fundamentally very strong. Yes, we've had our hiccups, and the hiccups have not left us. The treasury thing has been a big blow personally to me also. But I think it's a matter of time that the bank will come up, and I don't think there are any hidden skeletons in the cupboard, and we are not hiding any losses, or we are not hiding anything from the investors. There is absolute transparency in the system, and if I can come and disclose the number before I knew the final number, I think it tantamounts to that we want to be transparent to our investors and to the media at large, and I don't think there's a view that we want to hide anything in the market.
Okay, I hope this message is going to find its play in the stock prices in the days to come. The very confident statement, earnest statement that you are making. Sumant, just finally, the headline that I'm taking away, or one of the headlines I'm taking away, is also that you don't have to report a loss in the current quarter. It could be a profit, right? I'm confirming that with you.
Yes.
Okay. That's very good to hear.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sumant Kathpalia, and all the very best for the remaining part of your career in IndusInd.
Thank you, Latha. Thank you, Ritu.
Okay. Well, that's the word coming in from Sumant Kathpalia. The extent of loss, he says, remains at 1520 crore from what they know about the discrepancy in accounting for the hedges, and that in spite of that, because of some provisioning that will be released from what they have kept aside for the microfinance sector, they could be even reporting a profit in the fourth quarter. That, I think, is new information for the market, and maybe that will act as a salve for investors. So with that, we wrap up this special Newsmakers edition. Thank you very much from me and Ritu Singh for watching. Other news and updates are lined up for you after the break.